Hi there, everyone. I'm Brad Marsh from Maintel. I'm the Client Director for Utilities and Infrastructure.
Hi there, I'm Tony Collette. I'm Head of Commercial Enterprise at Maintel. And as part of our focus on digital transformation for utilities and national infrastructure companies, we ask a question: what keeps C-level executives awake at night? And I think three of the common areas that are involved here are regulatory and security compliance, improving services to customers, whilst also magically reducing the cost to serve, and of course planning for digital technology services and the associated infrastructure, and of course the investment cycles for whether it's for gas, electric or water companies. This is the first of a series of similar short video sessions where we cover these and other challenges and how C-level execs can meet them by putting their network at the heart of their digital transformation strategy. Brad, you've obviously done quite a lot of research on this in recent times. Regulatory compliance has been pretty much at the heart of what utility companies do for decades. So, what's changed? Why is it now suddenly so critically important, especially around provision and management of technology infrastructure?
Yes, you're right, Tony. Yeah, regulatory compliance has historically been about providing essential services to consumers in a sustainable manner by ensuring consistent quality backed by good customer service. Investment cycles were naturally very lengthy to account for huge scale investment, and as a result resulted in long-term return on investment, sometimes running into decades. This meant procurement processes were geared to stretching life cycles to sweat technology assets as much as possible, which have a shorter lifespan than traditional utility infrastructure.
Okay, I mean that sounds very interesting, and I get what you're saying, but what are the areas of regulatory compliance that have changed so much that that it's causing sleepless nights in the boardrooms of these utility companies? What's changed so much recently?
Yeah, well, in simple terms, it's the increasing threat from cybersecurity attacks and the interruption of services and the impact on reputational damage. I think that's the biggest impact. All regulators for these services are providing advice and guidance on how to prepare and protect against such attacks. For example, Ofgem are aligned to proposals for digital strategies and the importance of protecting consumer data, whereas Ofwat guidance is more aligned to the performance measures on water supply resilience and reinforcing GDPR responsibilities related to data protection. They all add a huge burden on the suppliers of essential services, which slows the delivery of digital transformation.
Yeah, I can get that, fully understand that. But isn't it a case of just beefing up the security procedures and systems to beat the cyber criminals and the rogue states who might want to harm these companies and ultimately us?
Yeah, I guess if only if it was as simple as that. These operators of essential services have to invest huge sums to create and sustain the infrastructure necessary to provide these services. And this involves careful planning of resources and time, in addition to the existing operational pressures that they have. There's so many facets of cybersecurity protection that require a root and branch, a review of all existing infrastructure to calculate how it can be made secure, where some of it might be 20 years old or more. I mean, how on earth can you apply protection to equipment from a technological era measured in decades?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's obviously a challenge for any organisation that's used to very long investment cycles. Why has investment in and management of network technology suddenly become, a big focus, and what's happening in the way the companies deal with the pace of change? Has that just got worse?
Yeah, well, it may well not be, which is why it needs to be brought to the forefront of attention. There are many factors in addition to security which are driving change. Digital transformation naturally increases the volumes of data being captured and stored on a network, which has to be protected by law, and the benefits of improved customer information and an expectation of a better customer experience. As already discussed, the increasing demands of greater cybersecurity is the key driver, with network technology lifecycle management a major focus. But sweating these assets has been acceptable in the past, but failing to keep the networks up to date introduces security vulnerabilities, especially where technology has fallen out of support. Another thing is the increased need for networks to be accessible by users in a wireless by default way, which facilitates the rapid rollout of Internet of Things, IoT devices that are needed for applications, and this can have a real impact through digital transformation. I mean, last year, Gartner predicted that by 2023, 90% of all network devices will be connected wirelessly, compared to just 5% in 2019. That's phenomenal growth.
Yeah, that absolutely is. That's a huge change. And in fact, I remember our utility customers being very cautious about adopting Wi-Fi in the early days, and it's probably only in the last 6 or 8 years that that's been adopted. And yeah, security is front and foremost in their minds there. But I mean, obviously, this whole concept is going to increase the overhead on network management. As enabling this sort of change is going to increase the need for continuous upgrade programs, which is costly and difficult to manage. And it sounds something of a nightmare to plan for these sort of things. So why has the technology just not kept pace with this change in demand? You know, what offering protection these businesses need can't be that difficult, can it?
Well, I think historically the network technology cycles have been incremental in their development to ensure that users enjoy longevity through sustainable introduction of functionality to meet new demands evolving over time. The problem with that is legislative challenges like meeting cybersecurity needs, which didn't even exist when the technology was first invented.
Yeah, okay. That makes absolute sense as well. And it must be a source of frustration for sure. So what can these companies do to square that circle and resolve this issue rather than just increase complexity and management overhead and so on?
Yeah, I think many networks in these organisations were designed to meet the needs that existed 15 to 20 years ago, as I said, and were typically managed by service providers. However, this increased risk of disrupting the flow of data or even causing network downtime resulting from unexpected changes to the complex environments is causing a real problem. The obvious answer is to consider whether it's time to create a new network environment which is based on technology that's designed for the demands of today's networks, where access to and consumption of applications and cloud services is simplified to a point of being plug and play. Also, why not consider acquiring a new agile technology? It's any-to-any networks. These dispense much of the complexity and management overhead and heightened security risks.
Yep, okay, that sounds quite interesting. I'm sure that's going to spark a bit of interest from various people, but who has the budget in reality to transform these networks from the ground upwards? And how would they even begin to approach such a program of work, which sounds pretty daunting from where I'm sitting?
Absolutely. Well, it's strange that in software environments we've got used to the concept of performing regular updates, such as Microsoft patches, on a scheduled and automated basis, without any expectation that it's going to go horribly wrong. There's absolutely no reason why companies shouldn't create a network infrastructure which works on a similar concept, for making changes without threatening to undermine the integrity and security of the network. Imagine the benefits of utilising a network in the same way you would for cloud software applications. Organisations are seeing huge benefits by consuming services from the cloud and paying for what you use. So it's about that subscription service model. Infrastructure as a service, if you like, is no different and enables organisations to realise a digital transformation strategy. I think deploying a network designed for digital era provides lots of other benefits. So it's in addition to a simplified network designed for wireless connectivity by default, you can have a network where service access is based on predefined policies, such as defined by user, device, site type, or other important parameters. The network can be enabled for plug and play or also unplug and forget connectivity to preserve data security. And lastly, I think it's the ability to transform your change control processes to reduce the management overhead associated with it. Imagine optimizing your change window from weekly to daily without the need of risk assessments and impact statements and the majority of changes for the majority of changes that are needed. It would be transformational and free up so much time and resource.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. From what you've just described, it's going to take away a lot of that complexity. And as you say, making it plug and play and simplified is obviously going to be an attraction. So what's your message for sleeplessness in the boardrooms of these utility companies then?
So I think the C-level executives of utilities and infrastructure companies should consider putting their networks at the core of any digital transformation strategy to make sure that they're secure in their organisation. Thinking outside of the box is not being limited by traditional ways of networking. That will facilitate a radical step change while minimising the risk and disruption. It's also is the only realistic way of meeting new cybersecurity threats, as we discussed earlier, and satisfying regulators and customers that you're in control of data integrity. The time's right to review your network solution. The technology is secure, it's robust, and it's agile. And I think digital transformation can be accelerated to achieve these business objectives and ensure you get a good night's sleep if you're a C-level executive.
Yeah, okay. Well, that sounds very good, and thank you for giving the insight into that challenge or that set of challenges and how execs might be tackling them. This, as I said earlier, this is the first of a number of such short video clips that we will produce to look at the sort of challenges that we've just discussed and others like customer experience and so on. So look out for links to future sessions and hope you found it interesting. Meanwhile, thank you very much from me and from Brad.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye.